Yeah.
So
fine.
you're allowed to ignore the number in between,
Between in the sense?
meaning, okay, you're just returning all numbers that are present in both.
Yeah, so intersection common.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. The set math. Okay, if you do a set, if you do a Venn diagram, what's in the middle?
Yeah, common numbers basically.
Right. Okay.
So one second. So I think Aditya, is this your first session? This is your first session, right? I think he is still, his mic is not working. Yeah, go ahead, Devendra.
Okay. So essentially, if you have two sets of sorted numbers, right? You basically want to return all the numbers that are common to both, right?
Mhm.
So one I guess my brute force answer of doing it is I create one hash map, right? And that counts the numbers and how many times they occur. If I ever get to a point where the number of times it occurs is 2, put it in my result set.
Wait. Result hasn't. So you put this into a hash set.
Yeah, along with our count.
And along with the count. Okay, and okay. Then you go to 2461, and if you find what?
If I find it in the in the set already, then I know it's common.
So so you append the number.
Right.
Okay.
And then 21 would also get appended.
So this is your brute force.
Yeah, and I have to go through both arrays either way.
Okay, so anyone has a different answer, or are they satisfied with this one? Brute force. Ankita, Padmaja, CG, Sai, Aditya. Anyone? Aditya?
So if there are duplication in each array also, we should be outputting only one. If there are Q6.
Mhm.
They're duplicate, it won't work. But I should have asked that.
Yes.
So are we using a map?
We're using a set.
Okay. Yeah, the same thing. Like we can store the smaller one in map and iterate the longer one, or vice versa.
And then what?
So go through each array and search for each element in the map. If it is already there, then that is a duplicate. So we like store it in a separate array. We have to find the common elements, right?
Yes. But that's a wrong one, because I mean, so Devin said the same thing, but he didn't take into account the duplicates. Like, what if you have like 1, 6, and 6, and you have
Right.
3, 6, and 6. So if you just use a map solution, all you'll do is add 6 only once.
We can also keep the frequency of the element in the map.
But yes, you can. I mean, that's the answer. I mean, once you know what your I mean, that's the thing. If you know, I mean, David didn't consider for the duplicates.
Right.
Right. So he didn't ask for duplicates. Can the array contain duplicates? He didn't ask for that. So he just gave an answer which actually doesn't work for duplicates. Right.
So if it's duplicate, it needs to be a hash map. If it's non-duplicate, you can use a set.
Yes. Yeah. But you'll have to use a frequency counter and then use that to add it twice. Right. And let's okay. Let's say you had this 1, 6 and this has 3, 6, 6. What will do? I mean, just if you use the hash map, you'll still get 6, 6 twice, right? Because you check for 6, it is there. You check for 6, it is there. So you add it twice.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to check for 6. So here 6 happened twice.
You need to keep track of the count in both.
Yes.
So
And
your hash map is gonna have to have a tuple rather than a counter.
you have to store what? A tuple?
Yeah, because you're gonna keep track of the count in both.
No. So you have 1 as 1. You shift 6 as 1, and as you're going here, 6 is twice. You check how many times 6 has occurred here, and that many times you'll store 6 here. This is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically minimum of what is here and what is here, basically.
Yeah.
So like the ideal solution is having two maps. Yeah, all of them storing the frequency of both the arrays and then comparing them.
Yes. Comparing, and into the result it goes as minimum of
2. Yeah,
yes.
minimum of the frequency basically.
Yeah. So if 6 in the first one happened thrice, but here it happened only twice, so still you add only twice, right?
Yeah.
So Sue, so the question we are actually, we did actually first for 5 minutes was combinations problem. So
Okay.
yeah, now we are trying to do find intersection of two sorted numbers.
Okay.
Okay, so basically you're given this list and this list. Return the common number, intersection of the two lists. That means common numbers.
Okay.
How will you do that? So did you listen here to anything?
Yeah, that duplicates part.
Yes. So okay. So basically, so I gave this question. So Deven, he just said, I'll use a set, and as soon as there's a matching number, I'll put it into my set, into my result. He didn't ask for what about duplicates. Right. So then CG took that. She said, what about duplicates? Then we came up with this one. Okay. So what's the time complexity and space complexity here, Deven?
The time is going to be O of what? You're walking through both arrays. And that's still going to be O of N plus O of M, right?
And space complexity is still same?
No, it can be just order of M, right? One of them. It can be just one of them.
Okay. So what is that? What is one of them?
Whichever one is longer.
No, it can be, it need not, in fact, it should be whichever is the shortest.
Why?
So you're looping through both arrays.
So let's say one is
I'm talking about space complexity. Time complexity is order of M plus order of N. Space complexity can be order of whichever is the smallest.
No, because you have two hash maps.
Yeah, but I'm saying we need not use two hash maps. We can just build a hash map of whichever array is the smallest.
So what will that do?
So initially you can create a map of all the like you take from, because you already have sorted two integer arrays, you can see the length, and for whichever is the smallest you can build a map.
Okay, 1 is 1, 4 is 1.
Hold on.
Oh wow, that's really awesome. Who did that?
Somebody's drawing.
It was green the day before yesterday.
It was red yesterday also.
Man, I had to stop. Okay, I had to stop annotations. Disable annotations for this.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll what should I do?
You'll need to stop sharing, start sharing, disable annotation.
Yes. And then
somebody's using an iPad or something and it's drawing all over it.
Okay, now?
Yeah, it's clear now.
Yeah, it's clean.
Okay, yeah, okay. So you said, let's say this is your smaller array. You stored 1 as 1, now?
Yeah, we'll put 1 as 1, 4 as 1. Now iterate through the bigger array, and if whenever you in the hash map you see a key, reduce the count. Yeah. And only if the count is greater than 0, you put it to your result.
Wait, say again.
So you will look for 1 in the map. It is there. So, and then the value is greater than 0. So you put that in your answer list. And in your hash map, reduce the count from 1 to 0.
Okay.
And
okay, so
then it is not there, so you just ignore. So if you build a map for the array which is the smallest, so you can do this in order of the smallest size space complexity.
Okay, so you're saying if there's another one, since there is nothing here, I don't add one. I basically ignore it.
Yeah, either you can delete it from the map or you can add it to your result only if the value is greater than 0.
Yes. Okay. So space. So okay. So still you're iterating to the first this one, but your space complexity comes down.
Yeah, right.
So why it came down? Because
you're only using a hash map. That's as big as the smallest array.
Okay. So basically we use two hash maps, but then Sue said
Stu came up with one hash map. If we use that counter and just decrement.
I think the reason she didn't use this hash map, she's using the property that it's a sorted list, right? So
No, and I have not used sorted array.
I don't think it mattered because you're
Yeah,
still
it
walking
doesn't
through. It doesn't matter because you're walking through and creating a frequency counter. Sorting doesn't matter, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
right. The sorting did not matter here. Using sorted property, we can, I think, do it without even additional space.
Okay. Wait. So so two hash maps. So but time complexity is still O of n plus O
No,
of
it's
m.
it's one hash map. It's not two.
No, time complexity. Space complex
Yeah,
is
Space complexity though of smallest.
minimum of mn.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And what is okay. So and what was the so what's the other answer? You said you can do this
Yeah, I
without
think
using space.
so in this approach, we didn't make use of the sorted property given. This will work even if the lists are not sorted. Using the sorted property, we can basically have two pointers pointing to the beginning of each of the lists and move your pointers and add your results. And
Yeah,
we'll,
that
yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, just like the M merge list.
Yeah.
Question.
And if you have 6, 6, 7, so basically you have this here, right?
Yeah,
So
if the first check will be, yeah, right, same.
then you check these two. This is
Yeah.
less, so you increase your pointer.
Yeah, right.
And these two are same, so you add it to your result and then
Increment both the pointers.
Increment both, yeah.
and then now since this is less, you remove this, you increase this. Now they are
Yeah,
same,
right.
you add 7.
Yeah, right.
So this is what O of n plus m.
Yeah, m plus n.
Oh,
This is
one.
order of the biggest. No, actually, this is
You're
order
going
It
to
should be
both.
the order of the smallest, right?
smallest.
Because once
Still, time complexity will be order of the
No.
smallest.
If you look at it's not the order of the smallest because if you look at this example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you scroll back up, Ankur?
Which one?
We did 1, right? 1 and 6 don't match, so we moved it. No, you right there. Thank you. So we did 1 and 6, so we moved the 6 pointer, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
pointer on
right.
the smaller one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then 6 and 6 matched, so we added it to the result. So then we
Yeah.
moved a pointer on both,
Yeah,
right?
m plus n.
Right.
Yeah, then put them because you can still potentially go through the entire both arrays. Oh, you need to.
Or isn't it order of the biggest array, Devin? Because
Why?
you are moving the pointers at the same time, right? So the smallest array length is covered in the longest array movement length. I think it will be right.
Yeah, it'll be the longest one.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, O of n plus m will probably, worst case, be O of m if they're both the same length, right?
Yeah, if they are not,
Mathematically, it's O of
order of
m, if I
biggest,
recall.
yeah.
What about this one? These two.
Yeah, so you will start at 1 initially, both are same, so you will move the pointers.
So the pointer will go till here. This is longer. So let's say this is n, this is m. So
Okay.
here this
Oh,
is O of n.
you can kill if
No,
And here it is what? It's still longer, right? Because if you
Yeah.
have one here, this keeps going. This is still O of m.
yeah,
Right?
order of m plus
Mhm.
n.
yeah, so it's n plus m, but worst case they're both the same size, so it's m.
But if this was 2 and here this started from 3, 4, 5, then it's like this and this don't match, then you can break, right? No,
You can't break. You,
you
still need
can't
to check
break.
two.
You have to find this. Okay, so the only thing is you have to check what I think you can check for
If you're at the
the
end of
ending.
the first list and the number you're looking at is greater than that
Okay.
number, you
So there's
can
no matching.
right.
Okay, so it is always O of m. Can we say this? So here O of larger array.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so so if your, let's say this one had only one element, let's say 20,000,
Mhm.
and this had 1 1 1 1 like many,
Right.
right?
Because it's sorted, you can check the last element. If the last element is less than the first element in the greater in the other array, you can kill.
No, like I mean,
the billion. Oh, okay.
so here what it'll take? It'll still be 1 billion.
Yeah.
Okay, so how else? How else can you improve now? I mean, this is what I mean. We do. I mean, there's a way, right? I mean, this is 1 billion. So how can we get this down even further?
There's 1 billion entries.
I mean, your bigger array can have 1 billion entries, right? It is like,
Right.
so how do you get this down?
It's
I mean,
find
yeah,
the min
it's
and max of both. You just truncate everything from the other array with in between that.
but still it's still O of n. It'll still be 1 billion or somewhere around that corner, right?
Yeah.
Now what?
I mean, if we were specifically looking for a value, I mean, we could use binary search because of the fact that the arrays are sorted, right?
Say again.
But I mean, for this specific case, the facts that the input arrays are sorted, and if we are looking up for a specific index value, then binary search will be helpful here. But make it into a more generic solution. Yeah. So we're looking for a value 20,000, right?
So we can use binary search with masking
with
to cover the duplicates as well.
What is masking?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with masking.
Yeah,
like
so you're searching
just to avoid finding repeated values. Once we find a value in the longer array, we make it something like -1 or like infinity or something.
Why? Why
But
are you
then
doing that?
it's a sorted array. If you make it -1, you're destroying the sort order.
I mean, basically any value which you know that you won't use again, so that so let's say the longer array has 666 and the shorter array has 6. So if you search for a binary search, it can search again, right? So to avoid the duplicate problem, masking can help. So basically, just like in the map, we were decreasing the frequency. We can instead like make it an A or something.
Isn't that going to mess up when I binary search again?
I mean, if you changing it to A, then are you doing?
Yeah.
How are you? If let's say you were this and you were somewhere here, what you'll do? This is not a number, right?
Yeah.
It's not. So how are you doing binary search then?
I'll check the front and back value again to decide which way to jump.
Wait. Let's take step by step. I'm not sure what you're going. Okay, so Padmaja, you said you search for 200,000 here, right?
Yeah, I mean, because the array is sorted, right? If we want to match, then yes, binary search comes to mind while looking for that number. That's what I was getting at.
Okay, Deven, so what's log of 1 billion?
Yeah, that's still a big number.
It's still 32. It's just 32.
Oh,
It's 32.
Oh, base.
So at worst case, you have 32.
2 to the power 32 is 1 billion.
Searches to find a number. Okay.
I mean, you're looking for 200,000, right?
Yeah.
It's still 32. So based on what Padmaja said, you go through this array, and you're looking into the bigger into this array. So you got 32, right? In 32, you found some way. I mean, you found a number if it's present or not, and if it is present, you add it to your result, right, Padmaja?
But then how do you do duplicates?
Well,
how do you find duplicates?
Will be taken care by the.
No. Binary search is not going to take care of duplicates.
It can if you use something like masking.
What is
basically
why
what
why are you using masking? What is the purpose of masking?
Yeah, my purpose is, let's say the first array has 6 and 6.
Give me some two arrays.
Write 2, comma 6, comma 6, comma 1.
It is
Wait,
sorted.
it doesn't have to be sorted.
It is
Oh,
sorted.
okay. Let's just keep 2, 6, 6. Okay. That's it. And you can end the array. And the next array is something like 1, 5, 6, 8. So when you start from 2 and you binary search it in the next array, you don't find it. Right? Then you come to the next 6, you binary search it, you find the 6. Then instead of you make it into a new element so that it doesn't, either you delete it if it's a vector or something, or you can, if you don't want to do that, you can just put it as a or some special symbol.
But then isn't that going to break binary search?
You can still search for, so let's say if it is -1 or like, that special symbol. So every time you do binary search, you're going to check if that value is that special symbol. And if it is, then instead of comparing it with that value, you compare it with the next or the like the last value basically.
And what if there are a lot of hashes? How long are you? So let's say you ended up here. So how long are you going to check here? Let's say you got a lot of hashes.
Then it will
Hold on.
make it like a linear
Cap?
value. Yeah.
Cap, what are you writing?
Who, me?
No, somebody
Yeah.
Cap in the Zoom is going crazy in the chat. And that's just giving a lot of notification. Cap, can you speak? Hello?
It's almost like
A bot.
it's echoing of whatever is whatever the parts of the conversation here.
Yeah.
What is this?
Oh, I think her micro that auto typing thing might have been pressed. So
Should I make her
hello,
go?
maybe it will come this maybe. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
They're
it.
muted.
Yeah.
They're on mute. So
So Cap, so I'm going to remove you. So join again. So should I do that?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
just the notifications are getting a little annoying. Okay.
No.
Sorry about that.
I won't report.
But okay, so I think now the point Ankur is making is that, okay, let's say we use that special character and we replace a ton of entries in the bigger array, right? That will degrade our binary search performance, right? So
instead of masking though, right? I mean, if there is a match and we know the index of that value, right? Like for in this example here for 1568, it's index 2.
Right.
And so essentially you could check for the next immediate and the elements on both sides of that
still
index.
the same problem because you're keeping track of all your scene indexes, right?
So no, so actually, so Deven, so what?
And then you bifurcate your search in that direction if the neighbors are 6s as well, or if one of the neighbors is 6, and that is what you
replace it with any number smaller than this, right? Because you will be doing it in increasing order. So say if you're searching for 6, you can just replace it with 5 or any number less than 6.
If you replace it with 5, then you potentially because you're not going to go lower than that anymore.
No, but Sue, but if you replace it with 5, what are you doing? For every number, you're searching 32. You're doing 32 plus 32 plus 32. I mean, it's like now that's what you're doing, right? Even if you're at the last number, you're still searching the whole array, like 1 billion elements again. So what I think what Padmaja was saying, so let's say you're at 6, right? And you found your first 6. This 6 is going to be only after this index. So why not do a binary search on the remaining index?
Yeah, that makes sense too. Yeah. Then you don't have to change the value or anything. Just
so every time you do a binary search, get the index you're looking at and then do a binary search from that point.
Yes. So I think yes. So you get the first number, you get the number from the first array.
Right.
And initially, I mean, your I equal to 0 and j equal to length of n minus 1 of the last array, right? So first you're going to do a binary search on this one, right? And when you do a binary search, let's say you do get a number, this has to return you an index. So that next time you're only doing a search from index plus 1 up till length of n minus 1, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
So we're
great
shrinking the binary search area every time.
Yep. Although I mean, I was thinking of that it could go in both directions, but yes,
Oh,
we
remember
actually
it's
don't
sorted,
even
so it's just gonna go increasing.
So it's just going to go forward. Exactly. So I stand corrected with that. But this makes sense. And that's kind of where I was getting at. But I think I just confused myself a little bit by saying we may need to go in the first half, but that's not needed.
Okay, so now what do I ask?
So then what's the base complexity is still
There's no space. Yeah, space is not being used.
right.
Yeah,
but
it's so fun because
what's
we're
the
just
time
iterating through,
complexity
right?
now? Before it would O of n plus O of m, right?
N log m, right? For every
Yeah.
number in your n, you're doing
a
that
binary
many
search.
times log m.
Mhm.
Okay, so now the question is, okay, it's clearly visible, right? I mean, you always take the smaller array and you look in the bigger array for log m time. That is better than doing m into log n, right? If m was 1 billion or let's say 100,000 and this was let's say only 2, so that's not giving you anything. But if you do the opposite way, that is like if n equal to 2,
Yep.
2 into this would be like let's say 10 or something. This is still much better. Clear everyone? Aditya? So instead of masking this made sense, this
Yeah.
solution?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
It's interesting how we got to this point though.
It's
But
Why is it interesting?
because this isn't necessarily intuitive until you start dealing with massive sets.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
intuitive,
that
but
is a good point.
yes, not
Yeah, and
intuitive, but
the only reason I thought about binary search is when Ankur, you specifically asked for, like with a data set that has, let's say, 1 million numbers, and the second set has very small input.
yes,
Right.
because I
And
have to because
similarly,
I was What
doing
Aditya?
m log n in comparison to O of m plus O of n is not very intuitive and like may not even do good in regular use cases.
I mean, depending on the sizes of the set.
Yeah,
right?
I mean that is a point that you have to discuss with the interviewer. I mean, your interviewer would like to know what all things can you consider.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I mean you have no idea. I mean, it's just that if the interviewer gives you, it's better that you come up with these approaches and actually talk about that. Give him some hints that actually you're even thinking about them. Right. So I had to know that I had to push you guys towards looking into, okay, what if you have 1 billion elements? So I had to do that. Otherwise, we would have like finished at O of n plus m. Yeah, but there is even further analysis. I think if you so there's an article which says that for the first 9 elements or something like that, do linear search. But if it goes beyond some point, then do binary search. But that is like even crazier. So there's no point in going to that. But I think this solution, this like doing m log n and at least talking about this, that's enough actually. Right? Yeah. So this was I think a 2-pointer question.
2-pointer?
Yeah, I mean you have two. I mean 2 point in the sense you have two arrays.
You have 1 pointer for each
A
array.
pointer in each list or array, yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
iterating through.
yes. CG, did you
Just
get?
one question?
Yeah.
Do we also keep a track of the questions we solve in the Slack group?
I just put it into solutions channel. So daily we do 3 to 4 questions, and I put it into the solutions channel, and I put my solution, and that's all. So if there are some guys who put, some don't.
Okay, got it.
But I do put those questions. Whatever we do, I put there, and all the questions that are related to them. Like, so yesterday we did sliding window. So I put some questions related to that. There are some people who solved it, like Sue, Ankita.
So okay, we can solve it later.
Yeah, anytime. I mean, just put your solution. I mean, that's the place. That's the place for. And I've also, if you go to general, I've put some, I mean, there are some pinned items also, which I've taken as home, like I've given as homework. Right. I don't have any other website right now. So it's all on Slack right now. I wanted to create a blog or somewhere, but it's just Slack. People have asked me to create document like Google Docs or something. Like I'm lazy for that. I don't like Google Excel or Docs. I'm not doing that. Okay. So I'll go on to the next question. Fine. Okay. So how many of you? So I've taken try for Deven. I've taken it for Sue. Who else? Ankita, were you there and try when I took? Or when we took?
I'll be right back.
Okay.
No, I don't think. But I have done try, so it's not a problem.
Aditya, what about you?
Yeah, I haven't done try to.
You have not.
I have.
Okay. So I mean, you guys know what the basic how to build a try, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And so Aditya, in what language do you code? Python or
I
Java or
code
something?
usually in C++, sometimes in Python.
Oh, okay. Okay. So this question is, I wanted to read this question like a long back, but I never got the time to do it. So this question, Shiji, are you clear with try? Have you done try before?
Yes, Sangur, I was in your class some time back.
Okay, so this question is about dictionary lookup with a wildcard. A dictionary lookup with, I'm not sure if this is on LeetCode or not. So I'll give an example also.
Is the previous question on LeetCode?
I think, yeah, previous one is on LeetCode, but I'm not sure if it is, if it considers, I think yes. And there are two questions on this one. One is with duplicates, one is without duplicates.
Mhm.
Yes, but I'm not sure about the number. Let me just check. So yeah, intersection of two arrays and then intersection of two arrays too. So this, yeah, this is yeah, this one is not sorted. This one doesn't say it's both the numbers are sorted. Arrays are sorted.
And it looks like it might allow
Say again.
duplicates are allowed. At least it didn't say.
Yeah, this question is also different. It doesn't say that they are sorted.
Yeah, this is not a sorted array.
Oh, follow up. What if the given array is sorted? How would you optimize your algorithm? What if num1 size is smaller than num2 size?
What
the
if
elements
elements of
num2 are stored on disk? The memory is limited such that you cannot load all elements into memory at once. Huh. Okay.
You want to discuss that?
No.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
I think I want to think about it a bit. We can
Yes.
probably
Yes.
do a follow up on it.
Yes. One second. Someone
Monday?
is. One second. Okay. So Devin, so right now the question we are doing is dictionary lookup with wildcard. Okay. So you'll be given a list of words, right?
Mhm.
So let's say foo, bar, and bear. So basically this is related to try.
Right.
Right. I mean the first thought. I mean if you're given a list of words, first thought comes try. Okay. So that's a initialization. So now you have to look up and you have to return true or false. Basically, if this for these questions, like is member foo, this returns true.
Right.
Okay. And similarly, let's say sport, this is false.
Right.
And is member of, let's say, star. This is stars, not X. This is true. Right. Similarly, F, let's say this is your dot. This is also true. Let's say this is.
Are we allowing escape sequencers or just star and dot?
Just dot.
Okay, just dot.
Yeah,
So-
dot means replace with any character.
Yeah. So then, okay, all right.
Yeah, one second. One more. This returns false.
Right, because it's not a word.
No, this length is 3. Yeah, I mean this length is 2. There's
Yeah,
no.
We
I mean,
have
if
no
there,
words of length too.
yeah, if
Right.
there was one more, you could have returned true. If
I
there
think
was.
I recognize that word. Okay. So yeah. All right. Well, let's just, well, if you're allowing that wild card, right? That means match anything, right? So
Yes.
grab the first thing that matches me and go. Okay. So, shouldn't the contain function in the try allows that wild card and match any character?
That depends on how you code.
Oh, that depends on the tree length also. You might have to search all possible trees of length 3 to check if they're the word, rather than just the first one.
Yes, right. So let's say I'll just draw the tree here for people to just have some idea. So basically, this is a try question, right, everyone? Or there's a doubt?
Actually, did everyone know what try is?
Yes, I when you were not here, I confirmed that.
Oh,
with
okay,
everyone.
all right.
Yeah. No, this is not this. Right?
Yeah.
Let's say you had S and U. Yeah. I'm waiting for someone to speak. Any ideas?
So for each word, we'll iterate the try, and basically for every star, we have to cover all the branches of the try, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then if it is a star, then we cover all the children of that particular character, and one by one go to the next character.
Wait. So first, what is your brute force? So let's first talk about no try, but brute force. I mean, first brute force. I mean, otherwise, if we directly jump to try,
you go through each character you're looking for, right? And if there's a word in dictionary that starts with that character, then you check that particular word against what you're looking for. Otherwise, go to the next word.
So you're basically checking every word in your dictionary.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So okay? So you take this word or you take this word and you're checking with every word in the dictionary. So what's
but in our scenario, the first one will match, so that's fine. But if you do like B F star O, well, let's do B A star, yeah, B A star, right?
Mm-hmm.
It'll check foo, it's not gonna find a match. Then it'll check bad, it'll find a match, right?
Or BAR also.
Yeah, well, grab the first match, it's fine.
Yeah. So basically, okay. So brute force.
But
So
let's
what's the
say
time?
let's say we change bar to bars to 10S to it, right? Then it's not going to match the first one, and BA star will go to the third word.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the time complexity here? So let's say don't worry about this. What this is? It's still
For
comparing,
each word,
right?
you're potentially checking all the characters, all but the last character, right?
Into 26 into.
Wait, 26?
The number.
Not 26. If you're comparing two strings, you're just checking B against B, A against A, C against C, right?
Yes. You're not checking for frequency exact match.
Yeah.
So give me in some terms.
So if the length of the string that we are searching for is M, and if the length of each of the words in the array is N, so it is.
Do you care about the length of each character in
no, it's the length of the max one.
Yeah, M cross.
Even if it is, let's say okay, let's say this length is M. Let's say this is 10. Let's say there's a word which is either 1000 or let's say this is just 1.
Right.
How much will you check?
You're only checking
it
the
is-
first character.
No. For this one, yeah, only first character. What if it is 1,000?
10
First
characters.
10?
Yeah.
So does it matter what is the length of a word in your dictionary?
It just be m square.
Why m square?
Because
is it m
this
square?
we are checking like so many
who-
times.
Okay, so who said that the length of a word is m and there are m words in the
Oh,
dictionary?
m cross n. If the size of the array is n, m cross n.
Yes, exact. M into n. Yes. Right, Aditya?
I'm confused. So what if
so-
it's star star? So we cover all the
So the dictionary
elements
has
in the list.
has n words,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Worst
Yep.
case,
Like-
we're potentially checking m characters in each of those n words,
Right.
right? So let's say my dictionary has 5 words, right? And let's say they're all greater than length 3. Okay, m is 3, n is 5. Okay, so for each of those words, we're checking the first 3 characters. We don't find a match, but worst case, we're checking 15 characters, right? Does
Mhm.
that make sense?
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, he said, let's say you have 3 characters in your lookup, which are trying to look up, and each
And
each
each of
word,
the
and there are
characters-
m words or there are n words, and this is length is m, so it is m into checking with each word, so it becomes m into n, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how would you improve your brute force? Just to improve your brute force.
You can sort the array, the strings in the array.
What is sorting going to do, Asu?
And that's going to be huge. You're
Yeah,
sorting
that is
word.
going to be even huge. Yeah, my bad. Ignore it.
What other brute force things that you can discuss, they can think about? Like, this question is all about discussion. This is not about, okay, there's only one solution. I want this is for as much as decision as possible for this question. What other brute force solutions can you think about?
With additional space.
Okay, I'll say, let's say, I mean, it's not something, but I'll just say, let's say you're given a list of the words, right? You're given list of the words, and
Right.
these are full words,
Yeah.
right? And you're given a word, just a single word.
So you check the
Right.
length.
No, yeah. We'll go later. But what will that length do?
Checking the length will allow us to eliminate all the words that can't be a match.
Yeah, but if they all are same, it's worst case.
Yeah, it's worst case.
Yeah, but yeah, you can check for length. Yeah, so that's one option. Yeah. Now let's say, so what okay, so what I'm trying to say is, let's say these are all words, right? Four, right?
Right.
Let's say I gave you a word which is F and this one. You have to wait. You have to check for F dot dot. Right?
hmm
How will you check? I mean, based on brute force, how did you check? You
If
check
it's a
this
dot,
word.
match any character, right?
Yeah, so basically you're checking foo dot FOO, then you're checking with FOE, you're checking with F4,
Right.
right? Okay. You have dot dot, right? Okay. So what are the possible words that you can build with F dot dot?
Any possible combination of
F?
2 letters.
So there are 26 possible words here.
Right.
Generate all, check in O of 1 if it is present here. How about that?
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Really?
Oh, you're generating every possible combination of the word
Hmm.
and then checking against your dictionary. Okay. Yeah, that can get ugly.
Yeah, exactly. It's a brute force. It's a brute
Yeah,
force.
yeah. But depending on how long your initial string is, the dot can get ugly.
Yes. Yes. So basically, it's if the length is m, So this becomes m to the power, so 26 to the power m, right?
Right.
And then, I mean, but if it is 20 power 7, but checking into the dictionary is just O of n,
Right.
right? Is this like thought process clear to everyone? I'm just talking about brute forces here.
Wait, now you're saying, okay, yeah. Okay.
What about the opposite way, no?
If I put the dictionary into a set.
Which dictionary? We already put this into a set.
Oh, you said opposite way. That's what I.
Yeah. So you had f dot o, right? What if you went into your full words and you created all possible? So if you had given 4, you'll create f dot dot. You'll create dot f det. You'll create no, sorry, this one. You'll create o like this. Yeah, even this is even worse then, right?
Yeah. But that's.
Yeah.
Oh. Still generating all the combinations, but it's still.
Yeah, and then you check FOO directly into this. So f
Right.
dot dot with directly into creating all possible words with here, right?
Create with 1 open letter, 2 open letter, 3 open letters, all combinations, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that is.
Even bad.
Yeah.
That's
I
even
think
bad.
that
So
is what I was thinking
That's a
before.
capital R really bad.
say again.
I said that's a capital R really bad. Just don't touch it.
Capital R. Yes. So
Because
this,
depending
okay.
on the longest character, your number of combinations becomes nasty.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so now what? I don't think there's any other. I just for fun, I just gave you these two brute forces, right? It isn't adding anything. So now let's go with a try answer here.
Okay.
Now the fun. So yeah. Did Cap join again?
No?
Okay, yeah. So how do you code up try? And how do you do that, Devin?
So we build a try, the root node is nil, right? And then it has an array of all the characters, right? And each of those characters points to another try node. So you basically have a node, and each node has several properties. One, it has an array of children, and that array of children is an array of try nodes, where each index represents one character. Okay, you can, if you do some ordinal math, you can generate the array. And then you have another property is word, and it returns true if at the point you're getting to, in terms of the.
Okay. So so Devin, 1 second. So basically, should for everyone, should we write down the template here how we code try, or is it fine for everyone?
Template will be helpful, Angur.
Yeah,
Really?
just show the code and explain instead of writing, maybe.
Say again, so?
Maybe you can just show your code, whatever you have, and just give a quick
Well,
review.
if you just showed us the code, then for
Not
those
for
people
this
who
question.
haven't written the code before, it might be it's just you're a whole bunch of code is shoved in front of you, right? If we write it out, that.
So I think Sue is saying that because she was there in the session and she doesn't want me to spend more time on that.
But Shiji, have you done try?
She was there in my session before, I think. Right, Sue? Okay, were you asking Shiji? Okay. Yeah, she was also there. But for Ankita and Padmaja, do you want me to write the try? It's very easy. Like I'll do it.
Yeah, I think it'll be helpful if you could write it down.
And I code it in Python. And
Yeah,
Padma, since you were who said write it down, so I'm going to take your help into writing that, writing the code for this. Okay. And these are the
Okay,
words.
I mean, I was kind of.
Huh?
Okay. Yeah. Well, I need a refresher on try. I was going to follow along, but sure. Okay, we can now.
Okay, so let's say, I mean, initially we start from root, right? Let's say
Yeah.
this is your list of the words. How do you add words now? So okay, so let me also say that each I'm going to call each node as try node, and let me just initialize it. I mean, I'll just what do you say, declare, right? So I'm going to give it some properties. Let's say self dot
The character.
children. Children equal to a hash map. Wait, I'll write it down. A hash map, and self dot character equal to character. I think that's all for now, and that's all for now. Okay. So yeah.
Okay.
So what are the methods that you add? You add insert, right? What other method do you use? Devin?
You have
Search, right?
Search.
And yeah, you also do starts with.
Yeah. Starts with.
So yeah.
So this is going to be prefix, right? Okay. So Padmaja, which one do you want to try first? Insert?
Yeah, I think insert
Why
is
don't
a
you
good place.
explain what the children are first before we get into each of the methods, because they depend on children.
Okay. So you have a root. So basically, what you're actually building up is so as I drew the tree, right? So let's say you had wait, let's say you had foo, you had for, and you have baz, and you had su, right? And in your try, this will look like f, o, and o,
Yep.
and this will be or,
And O and R. Yeah.
and z, and this will be s, and this will be u, right? And the way,
Yeah.
right? And the reason we use a try data structure is so that we don't, if in our algorithm or in our what we're trying to do is we are looking up a word, and if it starts with some prefix again and again, right?
So that
So
lookup or search is faster. Right.
I mean, yes, I mean, wait, say again.
So basically the prefix help us I mean enable like faster searches or lookups, right, in the try structure.
I don't know. I don't think that there's a faster lookup. So how can you say there's a faster lookup? So let's say you have cat, and you have again you have let's say cats, and let's say you're searching for CA. How is it making fast? You still have to go from the root. You'll still have to check for CA, right? You'll have to start from root. You'll have to still go down.
Yes, well, I what I meant is the tree structure enables the search. Okay,
No, it's
that's
not.
what I meant.
No. It means to save space. We're using try to actually save space. So here cat, I mean, it's actually so if you have cat, so this is actually going to be just cats. You're just storing this whole word only once. So cat will be one word, and then cats will be one word. To search for something, you still have to go from up till down. So it's not saving you anything.
Okay, got
Right?
it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it can also be helpful. So let's say this was a question called word search too. Right? If you've done that before.
Word. Well, no, I mean, I may have. I don't recall right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at that question, that what that does is it actually, if you've already looked up CA before, it doesn't start again from CA like from beginning. It will start from somewhere from T actually. So you can have a pointer to that T is what yeah, you can. So in word search you can speed up search also actually, right?
Okay.
So but the basic functionality is, let's say you have a like a dictionary of, let's say, 1 billion words, and you have there, these, and so many. Instead of storing them one by one in your set, like is it like you do Control F and you're trying to find out if there's a word, you can use that using a try and store all the words once. Like there, I mean, like all the characters. I mean, you can save a lot of space actually. Right?
Okay.
Okay. So let's say now we do insert. I won't spend a lot of time here, but let's say you're doing some word. So let's say your current equal to self.root, right? Now what?
Mhm.
Let's say I'm standing at the root. What do I do now? So let's say
I
I equal to 0. Yeah, so let's say I get my character equal to word of I, right? Now
Mhm.
what? So I'm going to
You-
look. So let's say I'm at cat and I'm at C and this my root is empty. There's nothing here, right? Now I need to what?
Add it to the
So,
children.
so you're going to add it or start building the tree with that first character, right?
Yeah,
Whatever
so
the first
either
character in the
yeah,
first word
so
is.
either there'll be a C or there won't be a C, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yes. So what will I check? If char not in current dot children, right? So
Mhm.
root children doesn't have C. So that means I have to create C here, right?
Right.
So let's say I create a new node, which is going to be try node of let's say C,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And what
Yeah.
I'm going to do root dot children
Children node.
Shouldn't be
of
current
char.
children.
Yeah, but I'm making it more clear.
Oh, okay.
Equal to node,
Mhm.
right? Now
Yeah.
I'll change my current pointer. Now I have to go here. Now current is equal to is equal to what? Node,
Node.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. And what about here? But what if C is already there in my current dot children?
Then we'll create a new node for whatever the next char is and add it to current children's list, right?
No.
Wait,
I'm
don't we
standing
need
at
because
row.
we're in a loop? Don't we need to go to the? We added
Second.
children to the current node, right? Sorry, we added C to the current children, right? Now that C is there,
C is your
A
char.
needs to be added. Yeah, okay. A
C is
needs
your
to be
char.
added.
No. So that is one. No.
So
Wait.
I'm little lost now. So
No. Yeah. Wait. So first condition is if C is not present, right, Devin?
Yeah.
This is for if C is not present. If C
If
is
C is not
present,
present, add it to the current node children, right?
yes. Root dot
Okay.
children. Sorry, this is current.
Yeah.
so current dot children would be
Yeah.
So
Dot children
essentially,
char.
we'll add node to current children's list, right?
Yes. So now root dot children. So now root in your root dot children, you'll have if you return for keys, you'll have C in it. Like cat, you'll have the first word C, the first character C, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And let's say in your current, which was root, your C is already present. You just want to go down, right? So all you
Right.
do is current dot children of char.
Okay.
But that is same as this one. It's not going to change anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So this, if you see this node is exactly equal to this one, like root current dot children character, and we pick the node from here. Right, Devin?
Yeah.
Okay. So now all we do is plus equal to I1, right? And with there's one more property we add actually at the end is current. We mark each end equal to true, just to make sure that cat is actually a word. It's actually required in a lot of queries to figure out if the current is a word.
Okay.
Right. So basically, now you'll have your root, you'll have C, you'll have A, you'll have T, right? And at the end, this is your current. And so you're going to mark this as is word equal to true. Right. So that is your insert.
Okay.
Is that Ankita? Is that clear? If you remember.
Yep. Yeah, it is. I've been kind of on and off. I still have some pending work. So I've been doing that along. So that's why
Okay.
I've been,
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say now you have search. Right. You're searching for a word here. I'll just quickly write down the code here. Current equal to, let's say, self.root, or I mean you create the this is your current. So let's say I equal to 0 while I is less than length of the word, right? And let's say you
Mhm.
get your character equal to word of I, and if character not in current.children, what will you do? Return false. Basically, you're searching for a word and you had C and you couldn't find C in your root, so there's no way you can find cat in that.
Yeah.
Right? If you did find C, you're going to change your current pointer to current dot children of your char, right?
Right.
And then I plus equal to 1. And at the end, all you do is, so let's say you're out of the while loop now. At the end, all you'll do return is current dot is word is exactly equal to true, right? So let's say you were standing at root, you had C, you had A, you had T, and you had S, and this was the only word, right? Even though you found cat, this is still false, right? So this will still return false, right? So in your try node, right? So this is your try node. Here you'll have, so basically what we do is we actually do here is word also, and we make it by default as false. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So now we'll have, okay, I'll not write starts with. So basically, let's say now we have to check for prefix, right? So how is that going to be different, Panunya? How will you change this code for that code for prefix?
I mean, you would still need to start with the first character in the prefix and match it through.
Then the only change is here. What will you change here?
So yes, I mean, you wouldn't care about the is word, right? As long as there is a match, just return true.
Exactly. So there'll be a true here. Yeah. So that is your prefix. Right, Devin?
Yep.
Okay. So that's a quick refresher for try. Now let's go into how will you wait. That's a bad.
Thank you. That was very helpful.
Yeah. I mean, for me also it was a good revision. That is why I keep I keep looking for chances to try union find again and again so that I know what is going on. Yeah. So now we are back to that question, dictionary lookup. Okay, Devin? So now what will you do? So basically we are checking for what? We got stars, right? So basically what is going to change? Your def search is going to change, right?
Yeah.
Right? So basically now you also have, I mean, if you're looking for f dot dot, or let's say f dot o, you got foo. Let's say you're standing at root. You went to this, you went here, you went here. And let's say you marked as this as is word true. Right? You came here, you found f. You're looking for dot. Now what?
Dot will match anything. So now what you have to do is loop through all the children.
Children of?
The dot character. Where the.
And how will you do that?
You can loop through all the children, can't you?
Yeah, you can loop through. Yeah. But what will you do by looping?
Meaning you're gonna check every single character at that level, right?
Okay.
So because that will match anything, right?
Okay.
So because you're checking every single character at level, then you can go forward to the next character.
But isn't if you have f here and let's say there are 10 characters, let's say 4 characters, A, B, C, D. Let's say these all had, let's say 4 characters each, right? And let's say you looked for dot. You're going to match it, but now you have 16 other things, right? Let's say these themselves has 4 and 4. So will just matching be enough? Understood,
No.
Devin?
Basically, somehow should skip that whole level.
Okay. What will you do after skipping?
If you skip it, how do you know where to go?
You will skip, but you will go to the immediate children of all those levels.
Then
Then we
then
should,
what?
then if the next one is also a dot, you have to skip next level, or if the next one is a character, you will filter out the characters.
So and when will you return?
If it is, if we run out of characters in the search string, and if it is a is word.
Exactly. So basically you're doing backtracking again here.
Yeah.
Right? And you keep going. So basically you keep exploding. And at the end, you're going to look for is word once you have reached the end. Right? Right, Devin? So basically all you're going to change is here. Def of search of word. Right? And at the end, you're going to check for current is word equal to true. But let's say here you got a star or dot. You're going to do a DFS. Like as many characters like children there are, you're going to do a DFS for all. And if any one of them returns true, you'll have to return it true. So it's going to be now a backtracking question now.
Okay.
Right? Is there this question on read code? Because it's a very good question actually.
Yeah, that is.
Yes.
Fun to
So is
code.
this clear to everyone? Like what I'm not going to code that up.
Yeah, but it's a good
So Padma, yeah, so
expansion on how
Yes.
try works. Rather than just a basic try, now you have a more complicated version because of wildcard searching.
Yes, yes. And this, I think this falls into the category of hard actually. I'm not sure if this is only code. So Padmaja, if you know how to code search, right? So just what I showed you the template, all you'll have to change here is if character is a dot, then you're not actually going to check for is current in your current dot children. You're going to use if some DFS call of let's say you pass in your index or index plus 1 actually, because dot is I, right? And if this is returns true, your answer is going to be true, right? Clear?
Because the DFS also won't care how many dots occur after the first dot, right?
Yeah, if there are more dots, you'll blow up even more.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the only way. If you have let's say you had school,
dot.
yeah, and if you have just dot and you had schools also, right? It'll keep blowing up for everything, but that is what backtracking is all about. There's no other way to do this.
Okay.
Wait 1 second. Okay, so Padmaja actually had to drop it.
Hi, Ankur. My name is Vinay, and I joined here for the first time.
Yeah, hi Vinay.
Welcome.
Hi. I'm kind of trying to follow you all, trying to learn. I'm just about little bit better than beginner. That's it. So yeah, I'm trying to follow. But thanks so much for putting up this and then keep doing it. I've actually tried to follow some of your videos which you have put in YouTube earlier, and trying to learn.
Yeah, just we take sessions from 5 to 7 mostly. So just show up, you'll learn. Right? But did you understand this question?
Oh, sorry, you're asking me. Sorry.
Yeah.
I understood the first part of the try, but not. I mean, probably I did not follow the dictionary thing. As I think I just joined a while back.
Okay. So I've recorded the stuff. It's not going to be very smooth, like if you watch the recording, but you can watch the recording or you can just ask. You can ask your doubts like anytime. You can keep interrupting. You can keep asking your doubts. Okay. So Padmaja.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So Padmaja, did you understand what change you are going to do here in your search here? This is Padmaja.
No, I'm not fully clear. I think it would be good if we can walk through it one more time.
So
Yeah, go ahead.
can you go back up to the tree you drew, Uncle?
We did this one.
Yeah. Okay. So now, we're doing. Let's say we're looking for f dot g, right?
Mm-hmm.
F
So
dot
root
G.
F dot G. G as in yeah, F dot G also works. Okay.
Okay.
So now we match F, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we get a dot. Okay.
Yeah.
So that dot means we had to check OOORAG, right?
Right.
Isn't that a depth first search from that level?
So,
For
Yeah,
each
I
of-
mean,
yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah. So
for each-
basically, you'll have to do a DFS from each of the children which are present in F. So you do a DFS from here, you do a DFS from here, you do a DFS, and you're looking for the word.
Okay.
Right.
So essentially, whatever the wildcard character level is, a DFS starting at that point, right?
Ye-
After the
ye-
prefix match on F dot or whatever.
No, you matched
Yeah.
only F. So you matched F. You have no idea what your children are here, right? So you'll have to do a DFS from each of these characters to figure out, can I find FOG at the end, right? But you can also have, let's say, what if you had, let's say you had F dot dot you're looking for, right? So you'll have so many DFS calls. You'll have DFS call on the first level, then you'll again start from the
Then
next
on the
level.
second, yeah.
Yes. So all you have to change is in this method of search, right? So as soon as what are we checking here? If character not in current dot children, right? But you'll have to check here if character is a dot. You'll have to start a DFS from that
Okay.
that character. And if any of the DFS returns true, you return true. So all
Okay.
you'll have to do is you'll have to append you'll have to add a line here, and then you'll have to implement your DFS call.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, it's clear now.
Okay. So also Vinay. So basically, what we do is we don't. Is Vinay still here? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Vinay.
I'm
So
here.
basically, what we do here, we don't focus on coding. We go into. I assume that people know how to do DFS, how to write like basic, like they know how to do coding, right? And if I
Get
tell
you.
you, okay, it will work with DFS, we all expect that, okay, you can do DFS. You either go to LeetCode, keep practicing DFS, or you can go to HackerRank, right? The main approach of this
Right.
like sessions are to come up with as many approaches, come with how to interview basically.
So
How do you
basically evolving our thought process to those kind of problems and then come up with some good solution. I mean, at least trying to come up with a good solution. That's the aim, right?
Yes, and also so basically what happened was 2 years back I gave a lot of interviews, lot of mocks interviews, phone interviews and on-sites, and in that process I learned a lot how to interview,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So I know how to what can give you brownie points with the interviewer, right? I mean, I was a master student, so I had to give a lot of lots of interviews. So I know what the interviewer is looking for. So what I do with the sessions is we discuss. Like, I'm the interviewer, you're the interview guys, and you come up with your thought process, you speak, and then I break your thought process, I give you new test cases. Okay, this won't work, that won't work. And basically what we also do is try to interact as much as possible, right? And not follow LeetCode. LeetCode is all about trying to code, right? And trying to see if it is submitting. The idea here is trying to get the code right in the first 2-3 attempts, not like LeetCode.
Okay. Yeah, I think, I mean, I've seen in the LeetCode, but the crux is actually coming up with that first part of thought process. I think probably after that, if you practice if you have a good hold on our programming, I think we can somehow make it through. But yeah,
So
I've
these
experienced that
sections
first
are about that
really
thought
difficult.
process, and then okay, you just kind of bang your head against LeetCode to make sure you have that thought process down right. Because if you don't have the thought process when you get a random question, then it throws you for a loop, right? But if you have a starting point for a variety of different types of questions, you're in a lot better shape. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
And that is why we actually start from brute force. Like, if you're able to, so what people actually do is, I mean, I've been noticing that they go to LeetCode, and this I've seen 2 years back, even I used to do this. I go to LeetCode, immediately my first thought is, what is the pattern? What can I use here? Is it 2-pointer? Can I use sliding window? Can I use this? But that actually never works. The first thing you have to do is what I try to do in the sessions, come up with the brute force. Like, come up with brute force. If you're able to understand, so just by doing brute force, that makes sure that at least you have understood the question. You know this at least basic solution. Once you know that, then optimizing is easy. Then you figure out your pattern. What people do is they come up with the pattern first. They look for the pattern first, which is wrong, which makes it even more tougher.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay.
Right. And if you see any of these big companies like Google, Amazon, and they actually ask you simple questions because they know that everyone has done lead code. So they'll ask you small questions, but they'll want to know, can you ask your clarifying questions? Can you explain your thought process? That's all they care about. Because interviewing, right, they have four access to test on. It's not just coding. It's your thought process, or I mean your technical skills, your problem solving ability, your time management, and your communication. And your time management has to be like, so if the question, if the interview says you have 40 minutes and I'll be giving you one question, even if you know the answer, you cannot, and if you even if you can solve it in 10 minutes, you'll be screwed if you just do it in 10 minutes. He's looking for you to solve it in like a proper 30 minutes. Do the brute force, talk about all your approaches. Right?
Okay.
So it's all about time management as well.
Ankur, I gotta
Right?
scoot for now. So I'll see you, talk to you a bit later.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Have a
Yeah.
good night, everyone.
Thanks for the quick details around there. Yeah, thank you.
So I don't think that Sue, so the link that you gave, right? I don't think that's the question.
That's the problem.
No. That's a different question. This is a different question. This
No,
is
no.
question mark and this is searching for two. This is not a list of words.
Oh,
Yes,
you're right.
is basically multiple, but something closer is what I found.
Yeah. Don't even, I mean, this question is, this type of question you should only attempt only if you have time, if you're confirmed that, okay, my preparation is done. Otherwise, don't. Even if you think that you're expert now, this question solving it, like it'll take you a good 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
Good 2-3 hours, because I did that. I was able to get like at least 90% of my test cases to pass. I couldn't figure that less than. I gave up. I'm not doing this question again. Right? I mean, so I'll see. I look for where the try question is. So basically, this try question, right? It has even more. You can even optimize this more. Any thoughts? How? Devan has left, right? Okay. Okay, so let's not go into this. If you guys want, let's go into other question or let's drop off. Vinay, did you have something to say?
No, I mean, I was about to ask you, like, could you please repeat that question? But I think I get you. We can go back to the one what you specified.
Which question?
No, you said, I think, about this wildcard matching to discuss.
No, we were not
about.
doing this. So Sue thought that this wildcard matching question is exactly same as what we did now, but that is a different question.
Sure, got you.
That is a different. Yeah, Sue. Any thought how to improve this even further?
No, Ankur, these sessions are great. Only thing is, I want system design as well.
Yeah. No, so I know I was not asking about this session. I was asking about this question.
Oh, this question is different because star can match multiple characters. What we discussed is 1-to-1 dots.
Yeah, so I'm asking this question, this question that we're doing right now on wait.
Oh, so the one that we're trying to solve now, or
yes,
the
now.
lead code? Okay.
Where did my Scribble, Scribble, this one. So this question, can we even optimize this even more? Are there any ways? Yeah.
Okay, understood now what you're asking.
So my question is, what other ways can you improve it a bit more? Like, this is a good, like, how will you talk with the interviewer? Okay, I'll do this, I'll improve this even further. Any thoughts? Anyone?
If remaining, I mean, just a raw thought, but if remaining characters are actually our dot, if we are able to find it, then we can, if f already exists, then we can just return true because.
Say again.
I'm just again cross-thinking myself. I was thinking if other than the first character, the remaining characters are actually like dot dot, we can essentially return true saying that this already exists. But again, the question is whether we have till that level, we have characters till that level. Because dot dot will match to anything. So I was thinking we can directly return true. It can be fog or it can be fall or anything. But we are not sure about how many levels it actually has right now.
Yes, exactly.
How many
Yes,
childrens that it has. So I cannot really do that way. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think this much discussion about this is like good enough. Maybe next time when I take this question again, maybe I'll discuss about even more further optimizations. But for now, I think this is enough. And I'll try to look for the lead code question if I can find. I'm sure this must be on HackerRank or somewhere. But yeah, so this is. I know that this is frequently asked at Facebook.
But is that something we can still think about? Like if we somehow know that the level of children is actually like 3 or more, then I can directly make it a little bit more optimized such that if all the characters are like dot dot and then return true, if it is crossing the level, or is it probably wrong idea?
Say again.
So here f dot dot, right? So if we know that this level of children exist more than 2, I mean, in this case, there are 2 dots, but if I don't know how do we get that, but just a raw thought, if we somehow know that it's more than 2, then we directly, to make it better optimized, we directly return that as true because it can match to anything. Or is that not a right approach?
I'll have to think about this.
I mean, it's just a raw thought. I haven't thought through, but yeah.
I'll think. I mean, after this session, I'll think about this. Then maybe we can discuss this on Saturday. Okay. So basically, now I had one more question to discuss actually, but the question is clear to everyone, right? So I hope you guys can either do this on your own coding, like own ID, but at least try to do this because I know many people are actually aiming for Facebook, and this I'm telling you, this is Facebook's very like they love this question, and they love discussing about can the guy interviewee discuss as many solutions as possible, right? So what is the next question I wanted to do? So Ankita, are you still working on your like site, like or are you here?
I'm done. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you guys have energy left, or should I go with? I wanted to do least recent cache, but I'm not sure if people have energy for that.
You mean LRU?
Yes.
Okay.
Ankur, I have done that already, so I'll drop off.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. So since Ankita and Padmaja and Vinay, you guys are new, right? So I just before we do list recently use cache, I just want to take a small topic in linked list, and it's a trick that I learned when I was interviewing, and that actually helped a lot. And if you go to LeetCode, it will actually help you. This thing will actually help you, right? Because and most of the questions are actually on LeetCode, they say, for example, there's a question which says, let's say you're given a linked list and remove all the, let's say this is 1, this is 2, this is 2. It says that let's say this is your head, right? It says remove all the elements which are not unique, or basically it says return only this one, like 1, and this will be none. Is the question clear? So there are 2 types of questions on LeetCode. One says that if a number is happening twice or thrice, remove all the duplicates and make it only head, followed by 1, followed by 2, right? So that's one question. On top of that is one more question which says just remove the numbers which are multiples. Just return me head and 1. Are these both questions clear?
Yeah. Is this sorted?
Yeah.
No, not sorted, not sorted.
Okay.
It just says that is it sorted?
So essentially the first one you're saying, if it is like more than 1, get rid of everything. I mean, remove those.
Yes, get rid of everything. Yeah, you can assume, yeah, it is sorted. It is sorted. I mean, otherwise, if it's not sorted, you'll have to use a hash map anyway. So then there's no point of this question. Then, yeah, it is sorted.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, what I mean, this asks that you have to change the question, right? So let's say initially you have head followed by 1, followed by 1, followed by none. So for this, you'll have to return just head. I mean, which is none. You'll have to return none. Right? Because since this is happening multiple times, you remove 1, right? So one of the things that I'm not going to show you how to code this up or what's the trick here, but one of the things that I actually use is I always create a dummy node. I always create a dummy node, right? So I initialize it to list node or something, and I do dummy node. Let's say this is d node dot next equal to head. Right?
Yeah.
This is a very important. I mean, this is a very important technique that will make sure that at any point of time you still have your dummy node present, right? Let's say you got 1 and 1, right? You removed 1 and 1. You removed 1 and 1, but still now your dummy dot next is going to be none now, right?
Yeah.
So this is a very important thing to remember. This way you'll be able to see linked list. The most important thing in yeah, Vinay.
No, I mean, I was probably acknowledging the importance of what you mentioned. Yeah.
Okay. So the thing is, in linked list, it's in linked list questions. It's all about manipulating the edge cases. If the head is there, if the head is not there, tail, head, this. What if both are null, right? These are the things that people actually get confused in, and they get a lot of errors. So if you use just a dummy node and you point your make its next as head, try to solve all those those linked list questions. You'll be able to do it like very easily, right? So just try it out.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So this is a property. This is a very important property. And now I'm also assuming that you guys have done LRU a lot of times, right? Who has not done LRU before, or LRU cache using a linked list, using a doubly linked list?
Yeah, I have not done, but I'll plan to do it.
That's a hash map. So we can go over this if people want. Let me just find it out. Yeah. So this is the question. Design a data structure that follows the constraints of a least recently used cache. Right. So you'll be given some properties. For example, your cache is of length 2, or let's say length 5. Right. If you can see the example here. Right. And anytime you have two queries, which is get and put. Right. And if you do a put, it has to replace that. Sorry. If you have to do a put, if it is already present, you don't do anything. And if it's not there, you put it into your cache. And if it is full, wait. LRU cache int get int key, return the value of the key if it exists, otherwise return -1. Okay, and void put. Okay. Is the question clear to everyone?
Yeah.
Should I say again? So you'll be given, let's say your so cache is like you have a key and you have a value, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Right, Vinay? Yeah. So basically, this says that your hash map. This is nothing but like a hash map. You put in your key and you put in your value, right? So you keep putting your elements into hash map for size 5. Now let's say you're putting something and it is you want to put this sixth element. Now to put this sixth element, you have to eliminate something, right? So the element that you have to put remove is the one that has been used or the one that has been least recently used, or the oldest that has been touched. That the one that has been touched the oldest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how will you solve this? Initializes the LRU with positive size capacity. Return the value of the key, otherwise return -1. Yeah. So how will you do this? Brute force or the weirdest way ever? Vinay?
Yeah, just thinking through it. I mean, we can start with the hash map and have the count as well along with the number. Again, just a raw thought, but keep incrementing the counter or keep a counter. And I'm thinking whenever we want to remove one item, look through this and then find out something which is of least counter. I mean, what do you say, that the less of this counter in that particular items of elements, and then remove that. Again, I think it's a very raw thought though.
Yeah, I mean, I understood. So basically you're saying if your list is 2, right? I mean, if your capacity is 2, and if let's say it says put 1, 1, 1, you put your 1:1:0, let's say, and you increase your counter. So next time if someone says put 2 and let's say put 2 and 2, you're going to put 2, 2 and 1. Now let's say again if you get put 3 of 3, you're going to put 3. You're going to evict this one because this has the least counter. I mean, or the lowest timestamp.
Right, the last count. I mean, less of counter or whatever, minimal of that counter.
Or you can say counter. If you can say this is just timestamp.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So the timestamp which is the lowest, you remove that one.
Yeah. I mean,
right. And I think if you do a get also, I think that also makes it like you have to change the timestamp to the current one. That is what a least recently used cache means actually.
Yeah.
Okay, because you're just getting it now, so it's a fresh thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. So if you have exactly, so if you have photos and if you're using them again and again, so that since you're using them again and again, they become like new, like fresh.
Right. Yeah.
Since you used it just now, you won't remove it. And the photo that has been like very old, you can evict it out.
Yeah, in that case, in your example, then one, when you actually get one will have the count of 2, which is like most recent. And when you want to remove the next one, you can remove the one with the value of 2, which has the count of 1.
Yes. So this was 3 of 2, and you got a get of 1. So now this will be 1. No, you actually when you did a put of 3, 3, you actually evicted 1, 0. Yes, exactly. You get a 1, it will return -1. It's not there, right? And now if you do a put, if you do a get, you actually get return -1 because it's not there.
It's not there.
Yeah. If this was a get 2, then this would have become 3.
2, 3. Yeah, 2, 3.
Right? Because current, exactly. And now you'll have 2 and 2, 3, 3 and 3, 2. So, but so what's the time complexity here? I mean, space is you're using the hash map, right? Time complexity, as you said, it's still off number of keys. Right? I mean, basically you'll have to iterate to the whole hash map and keep checking which is the lowest, and you return that, right?
Right. Yeah.
And if you do a get also, you'll have to figure out what that element is. And no. I mean, I think get is going to be O of 1.
Get is O of 1, right? Because
yes. Get is O of 1. Put is only if the capacity is exceeded, only then you remove. And in that case, for only for removal is what is going to take time here, right? Otherwise, it's going to be just like a hash map.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So how can you improve this? Yeah, Ankita.
So probably whenever we do a put, we also have like a list and keep appending to the end of the list. Every time we or keep appending to the beginning of, I mean, it depends. Like you can append in the beginning of the list also. So we know the items which are towards the end are the least recently used items. Right?
And your list is what? A single
My
linked list?
No, it's a doubly linked list.
Why a doubly linked list?
Because I want to evict items even from the end of the list and push in the beginning. Like whenever I do a get, I want to get it from the end and I want to push it again in the beginning so that I know that that is not the least, like that is a recently used item, right?
Okay, you say it's a doubly linked list. If it is 2, let's say it's 3, you have 4.
Actually, it doesn't matter, I think.
Which one?
Matter? No, I'm just trying to think if it's a singly linked list also, if it's going to be okay. Like, so basically, like what I'm trying to say is like now, yeah, we did like the capacity of this hash map, like of this LRU cache was 4. Okay, let's say. So we have these 4 items, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. I'm having the key and the value as the same for both. Okay. So now when we do a get of say 2, so basically if you do a get of 2, what I would have assumed is you remove 2 from here and you append it to the end of the list. Sorry, into the beginning.
Why is that?
That's because this is the most recently used item now.
Okay, so you want to make this as 3,
2, 1,
4, and 2.
1, 3, 4.
Okay, assume that your at the end is what your latest is.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So then I want to do this.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So how does it matter? Single linked list still matter? Still work?
I'm trying to think because if we do a put on this, I mean, yeah, it'll work. I think it's just that every time you'll be iterating from the beginning of the list. You will not like if I want to just do like I want to evict a least item, right? So in this case, we are evicting the first item.
Yes, fine. So
right?
you remove this
and
one.
Our head becomes 3 then.
Yes.
Right.
Fine.
But if I was going to be appending to the end of the to the beginning of the list, then my end would have been the least recent item. So if I would have used a singly linked list, I would have to always iterate till the end. Versus here also.
So why? So always have a tail, have a head. Yeah. So wait, so you're saying, okay, so basically you're evicting from here.
Yeah.
If you're evicting 4, what you will do? You'll have to go from the tail to 4. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
But even if
a singly linked list should be fine too then.
So what did you optimize? You're still, I mean, if you're going from tail to the mid of to the element, how did you how did you improve? It's still off keys. Here also it's off keys.
Yeah. So singly linked list is fine.
No, but what? Yeah.
No, I think the doubly linked list helps in maintaining those in making the reconnections in as an O of 1 operation, right? Like for instance, if there is a get of 4 and 4 becomes the most recently used item, which means we are moving it next to 5 here. So then the ordering in terms of the least recent used would be 1, 3, and 2. So 3 and 2 also need to be connected, and the doubly linked list helps in making those connections.
Okay, so let's say okay,
through.
But how will you find 4?
You'll have to still iterate, right, from the beginning.
So yeah, I mean, we would need a direct reference to 4 of sorts, which would need another collection or data structure to directly point at. So I guess a hash map which could be keyed off of 4 and points to the linked list node itself in this list here, right?
Yes. Yeah. So that, yeah.
So what
So
I'm
that's,
getting at is we need a direct reference to each node in the list, and the ordering of the list determines how fresh to stale or how least to most recently used they are.
yes. So, yes. So what will happen because of that? So you can, to get 4, you can quickly jump to your linked list. All you have to do is you break this, move 4 to the
Yeah.
end. Right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But why a double linked list? Why not just a single linked list?
So the double linked list is right when you move it, right? When you move 4 next to 5, then we still want to know the ordering of the elements now in this context, which is 3 is the second.
No. So if you
Second
have
least-
one,
No, you won't have the previous pointer, right? If you use a singly linked list in this case. If your
Yeah,
hash
that's
map
what I'm
has-
getting. So that
Yeah.
no, but if you remove 4, I just point 3 to 2.
No, you won't have the like the pointer.
But you can't point directly 3 to 2 because 4 was sitting in between those
Yeah,
two
but
nodes, right?
from 4, no, but from 4 I can find 2.
Yeah, and which is where the W linked list would help, right?
No, but from 4
From
dot
4
next
to-
gives me 2. So if I do 4 dot next, it's a single linked
Yeah.
list. 4 dot next gives me 2. 3 dot next gives me 4. I'll just do 3 dot next. I'll just make it 2.
But how will you get to 3 or to figure out that 3 dot next is where we need to
Yeah,
make the connection?
From hash map.
Because
You said from
in
the hash map. You said hash
But
map,
how do
right?
I know? Yeah. But without if this was a singly linked list, how do I know that 4's not predecessor, but the next element of 4 is 3 in or the sequence of the elements is what I'm getting at. If we only had a singly linked list, yes, there is a direct reference in the hash map, but this information of knowing, right, that 4 has moved out of that queue now, and 3 and 2 is the new order.
Okay. Yes.
So
Exactly.
so
Yes.
that
Yes.
information is missing, right, without a doubly
Yes.
linked list.
Exactly. So basically, to remove 4, you need to point it down, but you have to you have to point 3 to 2. You don't have a reference to 3. You don't even know what 3 is. Like you don't
Yeah.
even know what is the
You
previous
need the
before.
previous pointer.
Yes. So for
Yeah.
using the previous pointer, you use that.
Yeah. And
Yes.
also like inserting. Okay, that's
Say again?
This is obviously the main thing, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, has you? I mean, I'm sure you guys have. So, Vinay, did you understand?
I kind of lost or like partial understood partially.
So
Could you
ask
please
it
come
out.
again for the double linked list? If you can, anyone.
So, basically, what we were discussing. Let's say you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Let's say you had 1, 3, 2, 4, and 5, right?
Right.
Right. Now, let's say this is our order. So basically, we are maintaining an order. We're not using a hash map for your brute force. You said you'll maintain a counter, right, for all of these.
Right.
Instead, we are using a queue. Anything which is at the end of the queue is your latest.
Okay.
Right. And as you're getting new elements, you're pushing at the end, or you're moving to the end, right? And the end is your latest. Right. But
Right.
here then we see that there might be a case in which you can do a get of 2. If you do a get of 2, you'll have to move your 2 to here, because
That's
now
right.
that becomes your latest.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So now we cannot use a queue. Now we thought, okay, then the thought process comes in, we use a linked list, single linked list. But if you use a single linked list to point 2 to here, how will you remove 2? You find out what 2 is, but to remove 2, you'll have to point 3 to 4, right?
Right. Right.
How will you get 3? I mean, how will you know what is previous, what comes before 2? So to figure out what comes before 2, we use a doubly linked list. So now we have these references.
Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah.
and now let's say you do a get of 2, right? Now you need to move this to the end. Now what Padmaja said is, to find out where 2 is, she is going to use a hash map, which says where where is the pointer to 2. So as she is getting new elements, she's putting new elements into two hash maps. So one is the cache that you're maintaining, and the other is where is that node in that linked list. As soon as she gets to, she'll go here, she'll figure out what the first element previous before 2 is, what is after, and then she is going to connect these two, and she's going to move to till the end.
Okay.
Okay.
Now it's clear. Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Yeah. Right. So this is all about linked list, right? So is it is everyone understood what linked list, like what we are using? This is just a refresher on LRU. Okay. Now the real thing here is, if you just try to solve LRU based on head and tail. So basically, what usually you code this is, you use the head and use a tail, right? You use a head which is at the starting and use a tail which is at the end. Or you cannot even, I mean, if you want, you can remove head also, right? And then there are edge cases here wherein your head is nil or tail is nil, or a head and tail are same. Yeah, Ankita? Yeah. So remember, so the technique that I told you before, using a dummy node.
Right.
Always use that. So make sure that, I mean, just try using that. It will become so simple. You'll be able to do that in the first attempt. Just create 2 dummy nodes. I mean, you know that there's going to be a doubly linked list, right? There's going to be a head. There's going to be a tail, right?
Yeah.
So just create 2 dummy heads. Create dummy head. Create a dummy tail. Even if it's empty, make them as 2 different elements, and make its head, its next as your head, and its or whatever previous was, make it as tail, right? So always, if your let's say your the question says initialize cache with 5, right? Create a doubly linked list. Your doubly linked list will have 7 elements. Only your doubly linked list. I mean, all your hash maps are still going to be length 5, but your doubly linked list will be 7. And the reason you're using these 2 is so that you can code it easily. Now you don't even have to check for error conditions, because now your head and tail are never going to be the same. They're just separate nodes. Even if your doubly linked is empty, you'll still have a dummy head here, and you'll have a dummy tail here. They'll be pointing to each other, even if it's empty. Try this. You'll never I mean, LRU understanding is easy, but coding it like it will easily take like 1 hour, more than 1 hour. I mean, if you really are bad at covering the test cases, try this. You'll be able to do this in the first attempt itself, like 2-3 maximum. So this is what I wanted to cover in linked list today. And this is all you need to know for linked list. I mean, and don't worry about circles or tortoise or hare concept. Those are never asked. Even if they are asked, interviewer will give you the logic. He'll tell you to code it up. And coding is going to be easy.
Yeah, this is the most popular linked list question, I think, right? Or one of the most popular LRU.
Yes. Yeah. But if you don't, yeah, that's what I went to LeetCode. I searched with linked list. This question is not even tagged with the linked list. It's tagged with design.
Okay.
Yeah. But for linked list, always remember to use dummy nodes. You make it a practice, you'll be very happy. I mean, you'll be able to solve any question.
Oh,
yeah, I think
very basic question. Yeah, so sorry, please go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, I was just going to say, yeah, I think I'll play around with some edge cases and base cases with these dummy nodes and LRU cache today and just kind of work through
it. And Padmaja, so try to go into hash solutions. No matter what question you solve, put it into LeetCode so that we can see what you're solving, and we can also try. Okay, just try that the channel solutions channel. Right. So yeah, Vinay, you were saying something.
Yeah, kind of a basic question. I think I totally understand. Probably you all use LeetCode. Wish to know. I mean, I'm kind of aware of HackerRank, but have never used it. I've just been using LeetCode. Wish to know, like,